time now for us to talk about this because in the next 24 hours, we're expecting that experts will be gathered here in Accra to explore the impact of the sun on the global positioning system and other technologies that have got to do with science and space. Obviously, there's a need for us to explore issues relating to navigation systems and technology and human life as well, which will be on the table of discussion as the Ghana Atomic Commission will be holding that dialogue tomorrow with experts. Let's bring in now some of the people to expect. Professor Wayne Scales is professor at Bradley Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering at Virginia Tech and the founding director of the Center for Space and Science Engineering Research. Kofi Asare is manager, Remote Sensing and Climate Center at the GSSTI and the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time. So let's get to it. First of all, Mr. Kofi Asare, let's start off with the expectation for tomorrow. Why are we holding this conference and what will be its relevance to national development?
Thank you very much. This conference tomorrow is very critical to our development and the new trajectory we want to take as a nation. We are going to discuss an issue that borders on our global positioning system. We talk about the global navigation satellite system, which a lot of our activities in terms of communication, in terms of agriculture, in terms of transportation, they are all hinged on this important topic that we are going to discuss. So we need to really understand. And once we understand what happens within the ionosphere and how, or the space weather and how it impacts on our day-to-day activity, it will help us to leverage on the benefit it offers us. And if there are challenges, we can also work towards addressing them. So we are expecting the entire general public to be at the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission at the School of Nuclear and Allied Sciences, their conference room at 10 a.m. tomorrow. And we have an expert in the person of Professor Wayne to lead this discussion tomorrow. And
here's the issue that many have not heard much more about the Ghana Space and Science Technology Institute. For how long has this institute been in existence?
Ghana Space Science Technology Institute has been here with us for the past 10 years. So actually this year marks our 10th anniversary. It was established as a small center in 2012 and was then transformed into an institute. And hopefully it will become the Ghana Space Agency very soon because government is working towards that direction so that Ghana can really take a center stage from just being consumers and also be key contributors to the space industry. So soon we will also be transformed into an agency. So this year marks our 10th anniversary and we are going to celebrate it. So this lecture is one of such activities towards our 10th anniversary. And in October, we are going to crown it with a space jam at the Ghana Radio Astronomy Observatory at Kuntins.
I'm just wondering what the objective will be and what theme you're holding this discussion.
The discussion tomorrow, the theme is on space weather and its impacts on different activities that hinges on our development. The very topic is the effect of space weather on global navigation satellite systems, such as GPS and remote sensing application. And particularly with remote sensing, which also hinges on the global positioning system or the global navigation satellite system. It helps us to position ourselves well, be able to take data remotely. So when we talk about remote sensing, it's the ability to take data without necessarily being close to the objects. So our satellites uses GPS in its navigation and in taking the right data sets. But the space weather can alter the accuracy of the global positioning system. And that is why tomorrow we are holding the lecture tomorrow to understand this very well, how it impacts it, improve our knowledge, and see how best we can address it. Because
talk about the country's GPS system, the navigation systems and issues relating to weather forecasting. It appears that what happens to the solar system and by extension what happens in space has some level of impact on all of these items. Tell us more about it.
That's right. Right. So that's what I said, that the Global navigation satellite system, as you have indicated, is linked to our transportation, communication, weather forecasting. And if its accuracy is affected, it's going to impact negatively on all these activities. So for example, when we talk about the space weather system, we're talking about the ionosphere. When the ions in the ionosphere, for example, become very dense, it causes some perturbation. And when that happens, it also reduces the accuracy of the positioning system. So for example, if you're talking about precision agriculture, and you are using a drone, for example, to spray your farm products, while the positioning system is not accurate or it's less accurate, it's not going to deliver as you expect. Like we are using drones to transport health products to different places in our country. If the positioning system is not good, you may tell the drone to go to Kumasi, but it may land elsewhere. And that is why what we are discussing tomorrow is really key to our development and some of the challenges that we are trying to address as a nation.
That's the reason why I want to bring in Professor Wayne now. You'll be speaking obviously tomorrow, but let's get a sense of this. How can developing nations such as Ghana position themselves as a nation that could leverage on space science and technology?
Yes, thank you for having me here today. I think Professor Asari has actually provided several important points that can answer that question. Overall, space weather impacts most of our modern technologies. Navigation systems, the power grid is actually another big system that space weather can negatively impact, communication systems. And so as we develop as a more technological world, particularly developing countries, it's very important to understand and be able to predict space weather. For instance, I know in the US, under the past presidency of Barack Obama, made space weather and understanding and studying it a priority because certainly there would be issues as far as even governing the nation if there were negative impacts on communications or the government being able to communicate with its citizenry. So I think that, again, in general, as we become more technologically advanced, whether they're developing nations or not, we need to understand and be able to predict space weather. It's a very difficult task. It may take another 15 to 20 years before we get to the point where we have very accurate ability to predict. And also over sub-Saharan Africa, as an example, that there is a dearth of data. And so it's very important for countries in this region of the world to be able to continue to contribute to the data set that will allow us to study and understand space weather.
And very often the conversation comes up as to where to place the priority, private sector or government, in terms of the giving some further boost to space technology development. What would you say that priority should lie?
I think that that's an excellent question. In terms of going in the direction of technology, we can look at the evolution of the field over the past 30 to 40 years. In the 1990s, that's when actually the term space weather was actually coined. And a reason that it was coined is because a lot of the fundamental science had been done prior to that period in the 1980s, a lot of culmination of that development of advanced computational models to be able to do predictions. And then after that period, things moved in a direction of becoming more operational and predictive. And so certainly I think now is the time to move more in a direction of looking at the technology component. One of the things at the research center that I was formerly director of, that we actually had direct connections with private industry. We had an industrial advisory board, and they were there to advise us on how to direct and apply our scientific discoveries. And so another important aspect of this is education. How do we train the next generation of space scientists and engineers? and it turns out moving in the technological direction, allowing students to have hands-on experience in laboratories, for even down to the undergraduate level, where we're striving to go to actually start to develop those skill sets so students know how to build an actual workable spacecraft by the time they finish up with their initial 4 to 5 year degree. So again, there are lots of benefits. There's lots of logic to moving more in the technological directions, and also to develop partnerships with industry.
Would anyone or scientist have a hard time drawing the nexus between space technology and practicality in terms of addressing some challenges that confront us as a nation? For instance, here in Ghana, there's the issue of flooding, which many experts say could be addressed easily with space technology. Explain to us how that could happen, for instance.
I think that one thing when I look at how the technology evolved in the U.S., I think down at a fundamental level, discoveries are made with the basic science. For instance, if you look at the beginnings of the space age in the late 1950s and early 1960s, lots of fundamental science was done, but look at what that resulted in: computers, calculators, so forth and so on. And so the fundamental science will always provide discoveries that we can leverage technology on into the future. And so I would see that as being a primary way. And I'm trained as a fundamental scientist. That's what I love to do. But also the research paradigm worldwide is changing to move more towards being able to do fundamental science that can address the human condition, and to develop human scientists that can directly impact society. And so I think all of the components of that are, as in space science, are just in many other fields of science: fundamental discoveries, and then understanding or keeping at the back of your mind as we develop these, how that they can actually make a societal impact. That's critical.
Impressive. And your expectations tomorrow?
Well, if I can be honest, I love Ghana. This is my first time visiting the country. I'm very excited about getting to meet lots of new colleagues tomorrow. And again, you're beautiful people. I've loved being here, and I hope I do a good job and you invite me back again.
Professor Wayne will be on the lookout for that, definitely. Kofi Asare, let's then get your final words on this. I understand that you'd be touching on issues of Galamsey as well. So what's your final message then?
Right, okay, thank you very much again. We are also applying space science technology in a number of areas, trying to address the developmental challenges confronting our nation. And as you may bear me out, one of such is Galamsey. And it's a big issue that needs to be addressed. So Ghana Space Science Technology Institute is using space science technology to help us monitor Galamsey and mining activities in general in Ghana. So we recently conducted some studies, and we noticed that from 2007 to 2017, about 47,000 hectares of vegetation were converted to mining in Ghana. And key among them, the peak periods were 2014 and 2015. And there also we noticed that the government came out with some interventions to help address this challenge. The media also, including Joy, supported this campaign. And you notice that beyond 2014 and 2015, illegal mining activities started coming down. So we are saying that we can use space science technology to monitor our environment, to monitor our water resources. We can use it to monitor policy actions that are taken and review them to see whether they are making the right impact or not. So space science technology offers us an opportunity that might be difficult for us to use human labor to go around to all mining sites to monitor. But with satellite, it gives us spatial scale, a wider scale. It also gives us regular and timely updates to help us monitor the environment. And same application can also be made on the agri sector as well. So we expect the general public to visit us tomorrow, to join us at 10 a.m. for the public lecture, and we hope to continue with them and making use of space science application to address our developmental challenges in Ghana. If I may have 1 more minute also to let you know that Cabinet of Ghana in last month approved the Ghana Space Science Policy. So Ghana's really want to take a center stage and move from just being consumers to really active actors in the space industry. So once Cabinet has approved this, soon the Ghana Space Policy will be launched, and then we'll be able to continue with our space journey and really solve our developmental challenges and also contribute to the development of the world as well. Thank you.
Kofi and the team there taking us to space.